Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Wednesday, 9th July 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. CARICOM's 49th session will include the judicial arm, making this summit a historic one in light of the high priority placed on crime and security. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Corville Python of ZNS News reports that Bahamas' Prime Minister Philip Davis is off to Jamaica for the 49th session of CARICOM leaders, which got off the ground from July 6th to 8th. On the agenda, expected to be issues relating to regional security, Haiti, food security and climate change. Members of the judicial branch of CARICOM will also play a prominent role in the summit as crime and security are priority items on the agenda.
The 49th meeting of the CARICOM heads of government will be both significant and historic, as it will mark the first time that heads of judiciaries from the region will participate, as crime and security are expected to take center stage. Chief Justice Sir Ian Winder will be among the heads of judiciaries. He told ZNS News by telephone that these discussions are timely, especially given the rising crime issues affecting most of the region.
The administration of justice, as you know, is a work in progress, and our active efforts are necessary to achieve the results and success we need. The judiciary, the executive, and the legislature are jointly engaged in this business of governance. Each branch has its functions, and while we are separate, we must work closely together to ensure that good and effective governance for our people is obtained.
In the Bahamas, the judiciary has come under fire over the administration of justice. Delays, backlogs, timely trials, lack of preparedness by both counsel and judges. Some have argued that this too has played a role in the rise of crime in the country. As for how he sees the role the judiciary can play in addressing crime, the Chief Justice was clear on its importance.
Certainly, the judiciary has a major role, but as does all the other stakeholders. It's a collective effort. The prosecution, the defense, the government, the executive, ensuring resources are available, ensuring that persons play their part in getting this job done.
Regional leaders are also expected to address matters related to climate change, geopolitical issues, particularly U.S. tariffs, and the United States' immigration policies, which, as Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell points out, has created a high level of anxiety across the region.
Of course, the Bahamas says, whatever, it's their country. They decide who goes in and who goes out. We just ask Bahamians to make sure that they follow the law when they go into another person's country, and we do our best to protect you, to ensure that your rights are protected when you go into another country, and that applies to the states as well.
These meetings again will get underway July 6th through the 8th. Corville Python for the Bahamas Tonight.
Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister opts out of CARICOM Heads of Government meeting.
Instead, Minister Sean Sobers will lead a delegation, which includes Minister of Homeland Security Roger Alexander, to participate in the meeting. No reason has been given for the Prime Minister's absence. The media release notes, however, that Prasad Bissessa has sent written greetings to CARICOM Chairman and Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, and briefed her ministers on the critical role of relations between Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean community. But former Foreign Affairs and CARICOM Minister Dr. Emery Brown believes the Prime Minister's absence will only reflect poorly on Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago holds lead responsibility within the CARICOM quasi-cabinet for issues of regional security and energy. And both of those thematic areas really require leadership and regional coordination at this time. The Prime Minister should be present. Her decision to send two new ministers, Minister Sean Sobers and Minister Roger Alexander, at this critical time must be regarded as a poor decision. And as a founding member of CARICOM, we really should ensure that we are represented at the highest level.
Brown believes the Prime Minister's attendance is particularly paramount, given the recent change in government.
A full 2 months after the government was elected in Trinidad and Tobago, it's an important opportunity to network and interact at the heads of government level with peers and other prime ministers and presidents within the region. These opportunities only come once every 6 months with regard to a heads of government meeting. We are sending the wrong signals.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
India and Trinidad and Tobago strengthen ties with tech and trade. Joel Brown of TV6 News reports.
During his address to the Joint Assembly of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, took note of the chair he was seated in, the chair the Speaker of the House of Representatives usually occupies.
When I look at the golden words of the Speaker's chair from the people of India to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, I feel a deep sense of emotion. That chair is not just a piece of furniture, but a powerful symbol of the friendship and trust between our two nations.
During her address to the Joint Assembly, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bissessa said the Speaker's chair was a gift from India in 1968. As the Prime Minister said, trade between Trinidad and Tobago and India reached a, quote, record TT $1.2 billion in the last fiscal year, end quote.
As we look ahead from today, as we move ahead, we aim to expand our exports, Honorable Prime Minister, to tap into India's 1.4 billion population. That is a 1.4 billion consumers. We are also pursuing a partial scope trade agreement. The first, it would be from a CARICOM country, and we are laying the foundation for a new bilateral investment treaty.
Prime Minister Prasad Bissessa also made reference to her administration's plans for the digital transformation of the local economy.
Honorable Prime Minister, Trinidad and Tobago is honored to adopt India's UPI system and collaborate on India stack tools such as Aadhaar and DigiLocker to modernize public service. And may I take this opportunity, Honorable Prime Minister, on behalf of the children of Trinidad and Tobago, to thank you for your gift of 2,000 laptops to the children.
Prime Minister Modi gave details about the UPI system.
In India, even the mango sellers have QR code. If you try to pay them in cash, they will ask you to use UPI because they don't have the change. We are also keen to collaborate on other digital innovations. As India develops AI tools to foster growth and development in the global south, Trinidad Tobago will be a priority nation for us.
Prime Minister Modi's two-day visit to Trinidad and Tobago ended on Friday evening. Jewel Brown, TV6 News.
Antigua and Barbuda and other countries across the region are facing heightened health and economic risks as the Caribbean is forecast to face an intense heat season that could peak in September. Samantha Simon of ABS News reports.
The Barbados-based Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum has issued its heat outlook for July to December 2025, warning of episodes of excessive heat expected to ramp up across the region. Temperatures are forecasted to be at least as warm as seen in previous years from July to September, particularly during nighttime hours. For residents in Antigua and Barbuda, this means preparing for what climate experts describe as a notable increase in heat illnesses, such as fainting episodes and heat-induced hospitalizations. Vulnerable populations, including children, pregnant women, elderly residents, and those with chronic illnesses, face heightened risks during the extended heat period. The economic implications are equally concerning for the Twin Island state. Construction workers, agricultural laborers, and others working in direct sunlight face potential increase in exhaustion during intense outdoor activity. The report says the agricultural sector may see reduced productivity between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., with crops experiencing increased wilting and livestock requiring enhanced cooling systems. Coral reefs around Antigua and Barbuda face significant potential for bleaching as early as August, which could impact diving tourism and local fisheries, as well as coral planting projects planned for this summer. The heat outlook suggests conditions will begin to moderate after October, with excessive heat decreasing both during the day and night hours. Samantha Simon, ABS News.
Barbados' financial system remains resilient, underpinned by strong capital and liquidity buffers, despite heightened global and domestic risks. This is according to Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Barbados, Alwyn Jordan. He adds that the country's economic expansion continued in 2024, supported by robust credit growth and stable household and corporate balance sheets. Mr. Jordan was delivering the 2024 Financial Stability Report, which also suggests that looking ahead, global economic uncertainty, rising protectionism, and elevated interest rates may pose increased financial stability risks, particularly if they lead to weaker external demand, inflationary pressures, and tighter financial conditions. Additionally, the non-performing loan ratio peaked at 6.2%, with 4 institutions falling below the 8% capital adequacy threshold, requiring recapitalization equivalent to 1.2% of GDP. Lending rates remain largely stable, though there was a marginal increase in consumer loan rates. The Deputy Governor says to help monitor evolving credit dynamics, the central bank recently launched the Survey of Bank Lending Conditions. Meanwhile, he notes that higher inflation, supply chain disruptions, and a weaker external outlook could challenge corporate balance sheets, especially in tourism-linked and import-sensitive industries.
Credit conditions were favorable throughout the review period, supporting loan growth and contributing to improved credit to GDP dynamics. At the same time, delinquency rates declined back to pre-pandemic levels, and in some instances, they fell below the pre-COVID period. Commercial banks reported solid profitability, with growth in both interest and non-interest income up by 7.5% and 8.8% respectively, while finance companies experienced a 9% decline in profit, primarily due to rising costs. Capital buffers remain strong, with capital adequacy ratios or CARs well above the regulatory minimums, with commercial banks and finance companies recording ratios of 21.2% and 19.5% respectively, compared to the international benchmark, which is 8%. This survey provides timely insights into trends in mortgage, consumer, and business lending, thereby assisting in our understanding of the dynamics in the credit market and the factors affecting credit availability. The first summer results for the fourth quarter of 2024 were reported on the bank's website. The report showed that commercial banks reviewed approximately just under 5,000 loan applications of various types and approved roughly 75% of all of the applications. When they did deny a loan, it was mainly due to the creditworthiness of the borrower or collateral challenges for businesses. Real estate remains one of the most significant areas of credit exposure for the financial system, with mortgages accounting for approximately 46% of total bank lending. This level of concentration represents a structural feature for the banking sector's loan portfolios. In 2024, mortgage lending rose sharply, particularly in the commercial real estate area, supported by favorable lending terms and credit campaigns. At the same time, construction costs rose, which continues to weigh on affordability and also to limit new real estate supply. While the sector is not likely to pose a systemic risk, its size and dynamics warrant close monitoring to ensure that risks remain well contained as the credit and real estate cycles evolve.